A man's body was recovered from the Kern River this morning. A woman's body, meantime, pulled from a canal in Bakersfield. And an arrest is made involving the killing of a woman with Bakersfield ties. This is 17 News at noon. Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us. I'm Maddie Jansen. Search and rescue crews pulled a body from the Kern River this morning. Just before 8 a.m., the man's body was found near the mouth of the canyon. He has not been identified. That's right where 32-year-old Shahzad Khan from Eastvale went missing Saturday night. He and his family stopped on their way up the canyon after rafting in Bakersfield. His brother-in-law says they did not plan on going in, but misjudged the strength of the current, and Khan was swept away before their eyes. Another man also drowned in the Kern River on Saturday. 6 people have died in the river so far this year. Khan and an 11-year-old girl remain missing. Meantime, firefighters pulled a woman's body out of a canal in central Bakersfield this morning. It happened at the canal near California Avenue and Q Street. Bakersfield police tell us they received a call about the body just before 7:15 a.m. No details on how the woman died. A 49-year-old man has been arrested in connection with the murder of a woman with Bakersfield ties. The body of 22-year-old Sara Hudson, a recent college graduate, was found Monday night near Dallas. She was discovered inside a burning SUV. Police said their investigation led them to believe Hudson was likely murdered before the fire. Police arrested Glenn Richter. He's being charged with capital murder. Hudson was found dead on her 22nd birthday. She attended Garces High School, but also spent part of her childhood in Dallas and returned there after graduating college this past spring. New information about a deadly crash on Rosedale Highway. The CHP is investigating the crash that happened just before 10:30 last night east of Landco Drive. The CHP says a woman was riding her bike across the eastbound lanes of Rosedale outside a crosswalk. That's when a man driving his Dodge Challenger didn't see the cyclist and hit her. The CHP says the man was driving around 50 to 55 miles per hour and the cyclist wasn't wearing a helmet. Paramedics performed CPR, but the cyclist died at the scene. The CHP says the driver of the Challenger was not under the influence of drugs or alcohol. Court watch now. The former boyfriend of missing woman Bailey Despot is set to appear before a judge this afternoon. Matthew Queen faces new charges not related to the disappearance of Despot or Micah Holsenbake, but the newest charges paint him in a violent light. Court documents revealed in January 2018, Queen allegedly forced a woman into an orchard at gunpoint. The documents also say she pleaded for her life as Queen threatened her. And this wasn't the first time something like this happened. Queen is due in court this afternoon. Also new at noon, and you heard it here first, a new and ambitious plan to ramp up efforts to address homelessness in Bakersfield. It calls for a major restructuring of the Kern County Homeless Collaborative. Within that, a paid staff of 4 will be hired to coordinate the city and county strategy to mitigate the causative factors of homelessness. That will consist of an executive director and a support staff of 3. A new executive board will be appointed to handle funding and accountability issues. Proponents see the restructuring as crucial in the coordination of service providers and goal setting in response to what most agree is a homelessness crisis in our communities.
I think it's a great start. We're looking at all these resources coming into our community, and now we're going to have the county, the city, and the providers working in collaboration with each other to look at where we're going to prioritize these dollars coming into the community and working together as a group.
All the people that have the ability to affect this issue have gotten into the same room together, and we're saying, all right, how can we even do this better? Because the system that we currently have, we have maximized its use.
That's the last thing we need.
You can learn more about the new restructuring plan for the Kern County Homelessness Collaborative this weekend on Kern County In Depth with 17's Jim Scott. All right, let's take a look outside this afternoon. One more day, right, of temperatures not in the triple digits.
Yeah, one more day. So get out and enjoy it before the triple digits are back on the board starting tomorrow as we end out the work week. Currently, we're at 88 degrees right now for Bakersfield with no winds and clear skies. And we take a look at the hour-by-hour forecast for today. Still expecting the mid-90s this afternoon before we slip back into the 80s right around 8 o'clock. And then for the mountains, you're at 79 right now in Tehachapi. You do have a breeze out of the northwest at 18. And as we take a look at the numbers throughout the day here, we will rise into the 80s and then slipping back into those comfortable 60s right around 10 o'clock. We are talking about triple digits. How long will those be around? We'll talk more about that in just a few minutes, Maddie.
Thanks, Kevin. World news now. Iran showed off its military power today, demonstrating what it called a new long-range missile system. The public unveiling of the mobile surface-to-air missile system comes at a time of rising tension between Iran and the United States. Iran has developed a large domestic arms industry in the face of international sanctions and embargoes that have barred it from importing many weapons. You may recall that Iran shot down a U.S. military surveillance drone with a surface-to-air missile in June. Iran said the drone was over its territory, but the United States said it was in international airspace. 2 U.S. soldiers have been killed in Afghanistan, making it the deadliest year for American service members in 3 years. NBC's Kelly Kobiea reports.
NATO says the 2 U.S. service members were killed on Wednesday. No details given on how or where the incident happened in Afghanistan. But the New York Times, citing American and Afghan officials, is reporting the 2 were from an Army Special Forces unit on an operation in a northern province and were likely killed in a firefight. Those deaths make this year the deadliest for U.S. troops in Afghanistan in 5 years. 14 service members killed so far this year of the some 14,000 U.S. troops still on the ground. The Trump administration is now trying to find a way out of America's longest war, with a threat there not only from the Taliban but also Islamic State. The terror group claimed responsibility for that horrific attack on a wedding party in Kabul last weekend that killed 80 people. This week, the president said U.S. troops have become a ridiculous police force in the country. The U.S. negotiating to maintain some presence in Afghanistan in those talks with the Taliban. But the Taliban wants complete withdrawal. Those talks are ongoing. Kelly Kobiea, NBC News.
Well, some may say it's long overdue, but the man known affectionately as Mr. Bakersfield is finally getting his star at the Fox Theater. The Fox says it will unveil a star in honor of David Marcus next month. Marcus died in June at age 60 after battling cancer for the 7th time. He was a fixture at high school sporting events and was Centennial High's super fan. The star will be unveiled Saturday, September 14th at 10:30 a.m. After, there will be a special free screening of the film God's Not Dead. The Fox says any donations received that day will go toward the David Marcus Scholarship Fund. In the wake of mass shootings nationwide, there's a renewed push to make sure all of us are prepared as we can be. More on classes happening nationwide and how to find one near you. Welcome back. In the wake of a string of mass shootings, police are taking proactive measures to prevent more from happening. In less than 3 weeks, officers have arrested more than 24 people after they made violent threats or talked about attacks. The latest in Long Beach. Police say a man there was planning a shooting spree at a Marriott hotel where he worked as a cook.
We are certainly living in dangerous times, I think, in our country, in our community, and incidents where folks that should not have access to weapons and to certainly illegal weapons are facing our departments and our police departments across the country.
In Volusia County, Florida, a 15-year-old boy is in juvenile detention after police say he made an online threat to bring a gun to school. And police in Tempe, Arizona, arrested a man after they said he threatened to blow up an Army recruiting center. Earlier this month, the FBI asked the public to report any suspicious activity that they see in person or online. Following the mass shootings in El Paso and Dayton, there's a renewed push for people untrained in first aid to get trained, specifically training in techniques that slow or stop heavy bleeding. Studies show it has the potential to save lives. Sara has a story.
Transforming bystanders into first responders. It's a critical need in mass shootings like the one in El Paso, Texas.
The care begins at the site by friends, family members, bystanders, many who have no medical training at all.
Emergency management officials are working to educate everyday people, expanding the Stop the Bleed campaign to all 50 states. Launched after the Sandy Hook Elementary shooting, it trains how to treat hemorrhaging, one of the primary causes of death in trauma care.
We get stories every day of bystanders rendering care and significantly impacting people being able to save limbs, being able to save lives.
Nurse Angela Clarkson runs classes in North Carolina.
5 simple steps. And I tell people, if you forget the steps, count your fingers.
Make sure the scene is safe. Call 911. Determine the origin of the bleeding, then compress the wound, either packing it and applying pressure.
Pack it until you physically cannot get more into it. Then you're going to wad up whatever you have left, and you're going to push down.
Or using a tourniquet.
I want to go between the wound and the heart.
They can be found in bleeding control kits, increasingly found in public places, or improvised using clothing like a scarf.
I'm going to continue to twist until that slows or stops.
Techniques useful, Clarkson says, not just in shootings, but also other emergencies like car and industrial accidents where bleeding is severe and time is of the essence. Sara, NBC News.
Clarkson says it can take as little as 5 minutes for a person to bleed to death. So to find a class near you, you can visit bleedingcontrol.org or stopthebleed.org. They're free and they take about an hour. All right, we're taking a look outside this afternoon. Still enjoying these moderate temperatures, Kev?
Yeah, it's beautiful start to the afternoon out there. Great temperatures, too, to maybe go out and grab lunch. We're at 88 degrees right now, so we're keeping you below 90 degrees so far. No winds to talk about either. As we take a look at the almanac, overnight we were at a comfortable 71, pretty close to the normal. Normal high today is 95, so we'll be close to that. 109, the record on the state, set back in 1919. Your sunset at 7:37. Here's a look at other temperatures. Upper 80s for Delano, Wasco, mid-80s out of Buttonwillow, and then we've got 70s and 80s into the mountains. Tehachapi at 79, 87 up into Lake Isabella, and we're looking warm up in Ridgecrest, currently at 95. 91 in Arvin, and we've got sunny skies there. Golden Hills, a beautiful start to the afternoon with the upper 70s. Right now, 78. As we take a look at regional temperatures, we've got 77 out of San Francisco, 88 in Fresno, 60s and 70s to the south, so a nice day so far all around the state of California. A little bit warmer east, Vegas at 100 and 103 out of Phoenix. Not a lot to show you on the satellite and radar. We've seen a few high clouds drift through the area, but that has been about it. And today, temperatures expected to be right near 99 in Sacramento, 98 in Fresno, 70s and 80s south. Another hot day in Vegas at 106 and 109 into Phoenix. And the temperatures have been fairly nice around the state, all because of a trough that is pushing to the east of us. The beaches also have been very nice, 71 degrees and sunny today. Water temperature at 53 degrees with a wave height at about 2 to 3 feet. And this is all going to change starting tomorrow as high pressure builds back into the area. That's what the darker red is indicating, the triple digits returning back to the area tomorrow through next week. Here's a look at the national picture. We've been tracking a little bit of storm activity. I think it'll ramp up as we continue throughout the afternoon. This stretch right here, and you can see that on the thunderstorm forecast, picking it up. So this is the area of most concern this afternoon for looking at any severe weather. Here's a look at temperatures today. 74 comfortable out of Seattle, 83 in Boise, Denver hot at 90, 81 in Omaha, Chicago 77, and we've got 80s to lower 90s up into the northeast. New York City today right at 90. Here's a look at your forecast on the air quality side of things. Unhealthy for sensitive groups. Your AQI at 101, and today one more day in the 90s. Bakersfield 96, 97 in Arvin. We'll look at 95 in Wasco and Delano. For the mountains in the Kern River Valley, we'll look for 87 in Frazier Park, 85 in Tehachapi with 90s into the Kern River Valley. Lake Isabel, look at 93 today, 95 in Kernville, and a west-northwest wind 10 to 15. And then for the desert, a little breezy throughout the afternoon, winds gusting to around 40, 104 in Ridgecrest, 98 in Mojave. Here's your extended forecast, and 100 degrees tomorrow, 101 for the weekend. Next Tuesday, Wednesday, right near 102. And then mountain forecast, we'll look at the 80s and possibly a few lower 90s out there. A little breezy Sunday through next Wednesday. And the Kern River Valley forecast into the 90s pretty much across the board. A few clouds Sunday, Monday as well.
All right, not too bad. Just stay cool.
Yeah,
you know it could be
worse. We've been very lucky to enjoy the 90s, but unfortunately, just a little bit of a change starting tomorrow.
All right, thanks, Kev. Yeah. Well, did you fall for it? If so, you're not alone. A hoax going around Instagram. We'll tell you what it is next in your 17 Business Watch.
KGET Business Watch is brought to you by Grapevine MSP Technology Services, the Valley's leading IT service provider.
We're back checking Wall Street this afternoon, and stocks are a little changed today as the Fed kicks off a big meeting. Right now, the Dow is up 42 points so far in trading. The Nasdaq is down about 23, and the S&P 500 was unchanged just a moment ago and then down just a fraction. Meantime, though, oil prices are dipping today. West Texas Intermediate selling for $55.41 a barrel, and Midway Sunset started the day at $57.68 a barrel. If you're looking for a new job, you may be in luck. Fatburger's hiring. The burger chain's opening on the corner of Oswell and Bernard Street near Wingstop, and the restaurant needs people to work there. So there's a job fair happening at the Beale Library today until 4. There are 20 positions Fatburger's looking to fill, from general manager to cooks and cashiers. The restaurant is set to open early next month. An Instagram hoax claims the social media site is changing its rules in order to access users' photos. The hoax message says that everything you've ever posted becomes public, and that images uploaded to Instagram can be used in court cases in litigation against you. Many have fallen for the hoax, including celebs and politicians. However, officials at Instagram, which is owned by Facebook, confirm that the message is fake. They also say that no rules are being updated and no images will be used in court. The viral hoax can be traced back to 2012 when similar messages were spread on social media. Just over 5 months after the FAA grounded the Boeing 737 MAX, airlines around the world are scrambling to find replacement planes. Those planes are often leased from other airlines or charter aviation companies who find themselves sitting in an enviable position with extra planes in high demand. CNBC's Phil LeBeau has more.
This is one of the hottest planes in the commercial jet market, a 737-200. With more than 500 Boeing 737 MAX planes parked, airlines that plan to fly them have been scrambling to find replacement jets. Great news for Noliner Aviation, just outside Montreal. It's leasing 737s like this to an airline in Toronto needing replacement planes.
We have a lot of requests from many airlines that don't have enough capacity to do their charter flight on the weekends or their regular schedule, so we're providing charter flights for these airlines.
Airlines looking to cover their schedules are pushing up short-term leasing rates, in particular for older Boeing 737s. Often, airlines will lease the plane and a crew to fly it, or they'll even pay another airline to fly their routes. Take Air Canada. It's hired Qatar Air to fly some of its routes.
For Noliner Aviation, the 737 MAX crisis has lifted demand for its fleet of planes to a new level, and executives believe that demand is expected to continue at least through the holidays.
We started having requests about our availability for the summer, and then it changed to will you still be available during the falls, and now we're talking about Christmas times.
An airplane leasing market lifting off as airlines adjust to life without the MAX. Phil LeBeau, CNBC Business News, Mirabel, Quebec.
Industry veterans say passengers probably won't even notice the change, and the flight experience shouldn't change dramatically either. Well, the high cost of living in an area at high risk for wildfires, how some Northern California residents are considering moving, even though their homes were spared. Welcome back. Making news around the state. Homeowners whose properties were spared during a massive wildfire 4 years ago are paying extra now. They say home insurance rates have gone through the roof. And as Bridget Bureau reports, some homeowners are considering moving out.
People lived up here are prepared to, if they get the loss, they have the loss. They just take a chance.
People in Mountain Ranch like the scenic views of Calaveras County, but are paying the price for living in such a rural area. About 4 years ago, the Butte fire tore through parts of the county, destroying homes and leaving homeowners whose properties survived with soaring insurance premiums. Homeowner Jeff Killeen says the price for coverage in a fire-prone area has become nearly unaffordable.
It's getting ridiculous. It's a lot of money.
And he's not alone.
How people feel up here is they're getting forced out, whereas the Bay Area, which you may have $1 million homes, those homes are way less to insure. So it's almost like they're punishing us living up here in the foothills.
And some homeowners say they're having trouble even finding coverage. Just this week, California's insurance commissioner announced more than 340,000 rural homeowners were dropped by their insurance companies in the last 4 years.
our goal is to protect people, and your home is a huge investment.
Karen Yates is an independent insurance broker who helps homeowners find fire insurance across the state. She says it's become harder in recent years to find coverage in areas of high fire danger because insurers have to protect themselves after being hit with billions of dollars in claims.
It's because those carriers have a heavy saturation in that area, and so they're looking at those losses, they're looking at those areas and saying, we can't continue to write this business. We don't have enough funds to satisfy those losses if they were to happen.
And for homeowners like Jeff Colleen, the options are pay up or leave, something that some of his neighbors have already done and something that even he's considering.
Actually thinking about that now. Yeah, just take a chance. Yeah, the house is small. It's a 960 square foot home. It's nothing extravagant. If we lost it, we could just build another one.
That was Bridget Buerlo reporting. When we come back here on 17 News at noon, the Tooth Fairy weighs in on the going rate for a lost chomper.
Welcome back. It's National Tooth Fairy Day. Did you know that? So in case you are wondering, just how does the Tooth Fairy decide on how much to pay for that tooth?
It's a little more complex than the Tooth Fairy lets on. A new poll from Delta Dental says the Tooth Fairy indicates several circumstances may play in here. The leading factor, how much spare cash is on hand, followed by the child's age. The average amount for a lost tooth is currently $3.70. That's down 43 cents from a year ago. But Kevin, he had some qualms about it this morning on Sunrise.
This morning I said if I was the Tooth Fairy, I said I would maybe do $5. And this is no joke. The Tooth Fairy wrote me back this morning. And she writes, Kevin, I remember your first tooth, and you got the standard first tooth price of $1. You're going to make me go broke with this $5 first tooth business. Sincerely, the Tooth Fairy. So I wrote back and I said, what was I thinking, Tooth Fairy? I'm so sorry. You're so right. $5 is a little high. $1 sounds more affordable. Safe travels delivering cheer to all the toothless.
I can't. You got called out by the Tooth Fairy. I got called out by
the Tooth Fairy.
I thought you were a little high there too.
Yeah,
for $5. So
I guess I was. So I will go with the Tooth Fairy's dollar. Or, you know.
She has the final say.
She does.
Thanks for joining us for 17 News at noon. We'll see you back tonight at 5.
17 News, your local news leader, continues 24 hours a day on KGET.com and our 17 News app. In the spirit of the Golden Empire, 17 News.